Well, good afternoon, everybody. Everybody awake? My name is Kipp Ivey. I'm with Tremble Navigation Limited. Next to me is Ron King. He's our segment manager for our mechanical group. I represent the MEP Division of Tremble. For those of you that aren't familiar with Tremble, do me a quick little favor. How many people have heard of Tremble? Raise your hands. Anybody not heard of Tremble? We've got a few stragglers back there. So Tremble is an organization. Rather than speaking in relationship to just a singular product, it'd be very difficult for me in 10 minutes to just talk about one product of Tremble. I could talk for hours, unfortunately. So I think I'm going to talk a little bit more about what we call our DBO platform within the Tremble environment. I work inside the Tremble Divisions group called Tremble Buildings. That we have basically verticals under the Tremble Buildings. We have structures, architecture, the MEP group, the owner group, and then the GCCM group. If you look around the wheel, we got a little laser pointer here. If we look around with this is what we call our Dbl Wheel. So the way we interact within the BIM environment really falls in this key categories. So up here to the left under the design side, we have the Tremble Pipe Designer, Tremble Duct Designer programs. Those are our 3D applications for the MEP trades. Many people are familiar with the concept of Sketchup. Sketchup was acquired by Tremble a few years back, and then Tekla Structures, which obviously is our structural steel component modeling application. Outside the US, we also have a program called PlanCal Nova, outside the US, mainly throughout Europe and German-speaking Europe specifically. As you get down into the bottom part of the wheel, you get into the WinEst, which is one of our GC platforms for estimating. Vulcan, which is our fabrication component for the sheet metal trades. Tekla BIM Site. Tekla BIM Site is an application, a standalone application, allows multi-trade coordination. Tremble AutoBid, which is our estimating applications for AutoBid mechanical, AutoBid sheet metal, which would be our estimating applications for these both mechanical and sheet metal trades. And then Tremble AccuBid Enterprise, which is both electrical as well as mechanical and industrial platformed mechanical, specifically designed for those that get involved in the nickel alloys and the specialty metal services. Then you get around a little bit further, we get into the Tremble RealWorks, or some of our field applications. We have what's called the Tremble Tx5, which is basically it's a 3D high-density modeling scanner. It takes 1 million points a second. The Tremble Field Link for MEP. Everybody in this room, I guarantee you, has seen a Tremble Total Station on a job site at one point or another. It's really kind of one of those instruments that has taken the industry by storm in many aspects. For those of you that aren't familiar with what that instrument does, everything in a BIM model contains what? Anybody? An X, Y, and a Z, right? You got to go back to your old high school geometry classes. So basically what we can do is we can capture that X, Y, Z position of everything from the model space, and then take that out to the field and guide that man into the field without anybody pulling a tape measure. Accuracy is about 2 millimeters for every 100 meters. It's always amazed me in our years of construction how we now create these wonderful, wonderful, highly detailed models, but then send guys out to the field with a string and a tape measure and expect it to fit. So that's why the Tremble Total Station has kind of really taken off. Then we get into what we call Meridian Prologue, which is our, through the Meridian group of Tremble, which is a project management application. And then something new that we've started is we do now have a VDC services team where we can become an extension of your company and provide modeling and BIM coordination services, as well as scan to model and scan to cloud. Modelogics, ProLiance, and Vico. Vico, 4D, 5D information from the Revit model space. And then ProLiance and Modelogics are some other applications for allowing us to review and do some QC, Q controls in relationship to the BIM models, especially within today's Revit world. Questions? That's 5 minutes on a dot. I got 5 minutes for questions.
How do you SketchUp, it's a really interesting program. I mean, Google owned it for a while. You guys bought it from Google. You're still giving it away free.
Well, there's two versions. I mean, there are two versions, right? There's a free version and a pro version. Really, in all honesty, from a model standpoint, I mean, you can draw, if you want to do your house or something in the free version, you're probably pretty good. And you know, it's really, the free version is kind of a down and dirty profile. But if you really want to get in to be able to actually create drawings and do some other, then the pro version is something that you would want to certainly migrate towards. There's no question. It's not an overly expensive program either.
No, where do you see it going? What are you using SketchUp for?
SketchUp right now is traditionally being used by various trades. Some architects, engineers use it once again for that quick down and dirty model up front. But it's also being used quite extensively as some of the other vendors out there. You can go to the 3D warehouse, and from there you'll find several SketchUp models that where it's kind of an open platform situation where, you know, other users can put information out there, and then that information becomes available to everybody. It's a very organic growth. And there's some other companies that have provided both pay-for type things like 3D Skinge out of the UK and so forth, if you're looking for something a little more detailed to get more towards a more fabricatable component.
I've worked on a lot of projects that were drawn in Tekla. Mm-hmm. It hasn't proven to be particularly good for compound curved surfaces and complex geometry like that. You know, composites or stuff that might be formed. Do you have the intention of adding that capability to the Tekla suite of software at some point?
That's probably a question that's probably better handled in talking with the Tekla representatives here. I represent the MEP trade, so I'm not going to give you some information that would be false. But I think they'd be able to provide some more information about that.
What you said about Tekla structures is traditionally the case that the like very complex surfaces has been difficult to do. So that's why nowadays you can import SketchUp models straight into Tekla structures and handle them as native Tekla objects. If that answers your question. So we have, especially on the casted place world, we have people who are making some of their solids with SketchUp and then importing them into Tekla structures to add reinforcements.
Well, all right. Well, actually, we're going to probably finish a little bit early, but if you have some specific information or questions in relationship to either our VDC services, our BIM services, or our other applications, make sure you stop by our booth, and we can give you a little bit more information about how we further interact within a BIM environment. All right? Thank you.